Hello viewers, welcome to May-June 2015 WAEC, also known as WASSCE, past questions and detailed solution. General Mathematics / Mathematics Core Paper 2 Part 2. This part contains questions 6 to 13. That is the theory part, the second theory part, and you are asked to answer 5 questions in this part out of the 8. And this video contains the solution to all the 8 questions in this part. Question 6a, Roman figure 1. Illustrate the following statements in a Venn diagram. All good literature students in a school are in the general arts class. Roman figure 2. Use the Venn diagram to determine whether or not the following are valid conclusions from the given statement. So you have first part of Roman figure 2. Vivian is in the general arts class. Therefore, she is a good literature student. Part 2. Adu is not a good literature student. Therefore, he is not in the general arts class. Part 3. Kweku is not in the general arts class. Therefore, he is not a good literature student. So you have solution. From the given statement, all good students in literature, they are in the general art class. So that means literature is a subset of general art class. So all the good students in literature are inside that set. So you have general art class and literature is inside the general art class. So you have the subset of literature inside the general arts class. Roman figure 2 of that question. Use the Venn diagram to determine whether or not the following are valid conclusions from the given statement. Part 1. Vivian is in the general arts class. Therefore, she is a good literature student. The statement is invalid because there are other students in the general art class. But for you to be a literature student, you are supposed to be in the general art class. So the statement is invalid. Part 2. Adu is not a good literature student. Therefore, he is not in the general art class. That is also invalid because you can be in the general art class without offering literature. Roman figure or part 3 of that problem. Kweku is not in the general art class. Therefore, he is not a good literature student. Remember, all good literature students are in the general art class. So Kweku is not in general art class. Therefore, he is not good in literature. That is a valid conclusion. Question 6b. The cost C of producing n bricks is the sum of a fixed amount H and a variable Y, where Y varies directly as n. If it costs 950 Ghana cedi to produce 600 bricks and 1030 Ghana cedi to produce 1,000 bricks. Now figure 1. Find the relationship between C, H, and N. Now figure 2. Calculate the cost of producing 500 bricks. Solution. From the first statement, the cost is equal to the sum of a fixed amount H and a variable Y. That means C is equal to H plus Y. If you go on, Y varies directly as N. This is that meaning. And in variation, we always do away with the symbol of variation. As you are bringing in equality sign, you introduce a constant of variation K or C, as the case may be. So Y is equal to Kn. Now we can come here and replace Y with Kn so that you have C equal to H plus Kn. We need to get K because it's a constant. If you go on, when N is 600 bricks, the cost is 950. So if you put this information in this equation, you have 950 equal to H plus 600K. You call that equation 1. If you go again, when the number of bricks they are 1,000, the cost is 1,030. If you put that in the same equation here, you have 1,030 equal to H plus 1,000K. So you call that equation 2. You should note that anytime you have two pair of equations with two unknown that are linear, two unknown variables that are linear, you always solve them simultaneously. So I will do that using elimination method. So you have the two equations 1 and 2. We don't need much work here because we just need to eliminate H, because H has the same coefficient of 1 in both equations, and the sign of H is positive. By the rule of elimination, you need to subtract in order to eliminate H. Hence the symbol or the sign for subtraction. If you subtract 950 and 1,030, you have minus 80. H minus H is 0. This plus becomes minus because of this minus. So you have 600K minus 1,000K. That is minus 400K. To get K, divide both sides by minus 400. You have it in this form. When you first reduce, you have 88 over 40. If you divide by 8 again, you have 1 over 5. So we also need to get H value by simply putting the value of K into any of the equation. So let's use equation 1, where you have 950 equal to H plus 600K. So we replace K with 1 over 5. So you have 950 equal to H plus 600 times 5. If you divide 600 by 5, you have 120. So you have 950 equal to H plus 120. You can collect like terms by transferring this term to the left hand side, and you have 950 minus 120 equal to H. Therefore H is equal to 830. So we establish the relationship between C, H, and N as you write the relationship C equal to H plus Kn and replace H with 830 and K with 1 over 5. Then B part, you are asked to find the cost that can produce 500 bricks. So you write the relationship and simply replace n with 500. So you have C equal to 830 plus 1 over 5 times 500. That becomes C equal to 830 plus 100. If you divide 500 by 5, you have 100. If you add, you have 930 Ghana cedi. Hence, the cost of producing 500 bricks is 930 Ghana cedis. Question 7. The table is for the relation y equal to ps squared minus 5s plus q. The table is there. You have the s values from minus 3 to plus 5. Then you have some missing values for y that you have to solve for. A part, figure 1, use the table to find the value of p and q. Remember figure 2, copy and complete the table. B part of the question, using scale of 2 cm to 1 unit on the x-axis and 2 cm to 5 units on the y-axis, draw the graph of the relation for minus 3 less than equal to s less than equal to y. That is the range of values of s. C part of the question, use the graph to find, remember figure 1, y when s is 1.8. Remember figure 2, you find s when y is minus 8. Let's explain what happened here. Now you need to find p and q using the table. Now you can use any 2 points or any ordered point. That is, when s is minus 3, y is 21 can be used. But if you look at the point where you have 0, it will make the work to be much easier. So I'm going to use when s is 0, y is minus 12, and when s is 4, y is 0 to get the value of p and q. Solution A, figure 1. Use the table to find the value of p and q. As I said earlier, you are to consider this relation. From the table, any 2 ordered pair can be used to find p and q. But considering ordered pair with 0 will ease the solving process. So let's take when s is 0, y is minus 12. In the relation, you replace y with minus 12 and s with 0 in this form. So you have q equal to minus 12. Now let's take when s is 4, y is 0. If you replace y with 0 and s with 4, you have 0 equal to p into 4 squared minus 5 into 4, that is for s now, plus q. And you have 16p minus 20. And what is q previously? Minus 12. So you have 0 equal to 16p minus 32. If you transfer minus 32 to the left hand side, you have 32 equal to 16p. To get p, divide both sides by 16, and you have p equal to 32 over 16, and that is 2. So therefore, the complete equation is y equal to ps squared, that is 2 now, minus 5s plus q, and q is minus 12. So you have y equal to 2s squared minus 5s minus 12 as the complete equation. In Roman figure 2, you are asked to copy and complete the table of values, and here the relation is y equal to 2s squared minus 5s minus 12. This is the interval for the range of values of s. Okay, now for us to solve for y, we need basically two things, that is 2s squared and minus 5s. Minus 12 is a constant, so that you write minus 12 under each value of s because it is a constant. So let's get 2s squared. So when s is minus 3, s squared is 9, and 9 times 2 you have 18. When s is minus 2, 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. When s is 0, 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0. And when s is 5, 5 squared is 25 times 2, you have 50. You can try for others. Now minus 5s. When s is minus 3, then minus 5s becomes minus 5 times minus 3. That is plus 15. You can try for others. Let us try for 4. When s is 4, minus 5s becomes minus 5 times 4, and that is minus 20. That is minus 20. Okay, now minus 12, as I said, is constant. You write it under each value of s. So you add directly because we've considered both the minus sign in our operation. So you have 18 plus 15, that is 33, minus 12, you have 21. If you add 8 plus 10 is 18, minus 12, you have 6. 2 plus 5, you have 7. 7 minus 12, you have minus 5. So 18 minus 15 minus 12, you have minus 9. 50 minus 25 minus 12, you have 13. So this is the complete table of values. We move to part B, where you are asked to plot the graph. B part of the question, let us rewrite the given scale 2 cm to 1 unit on s-axis. You have 2 cm to 5 units on y-axis. Now this is a graph. This graph, you have that each box is 5 lines. So by default, 5 lines means 1 cm. So if you combine 2 boxes here, 2 boxes will give you 2 cm. So on the y-axis, 2 cm is 5. So from this origin here to the end of the second box is 5. The next 2 boxes become 10. The next 2 boxes is 15, and so on. If you go down from the origin, you have minus 5, minus 10, minus 15, and so on. On the s-axis, the same 2 cm is 1. So from this point of intersection, that is the origin, to the end of the second box is 1. The next one is 2. The next one is 3, and so on. If you go to the left, you have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. It is good that you know what one line stands for. On the s-axis, 2 cm is 1 unit. That means one line is 0.1. And on the y-axis, one line is 0.5 units, or 2 lines is 1. Anyone you want to use. Next thing is to plot the graph. when s is minus 3, y is 21. So this is minus 3 here. Now, like I said, on the y-axis, 2 lines will give you 1 because one line is 0.5. So after 20, the next 2 lines is 21, and that is what you have here. The next point, when s is minus 2, y is 6. So after 5, the next 2 line is 6 against minus 2. When minus 1, minus 5, so this is minus 1, minus 5, now you are going down. It falls on the line exactly. Then 0, minus 12. After 10, you count 4 lines down. That is minus 12. And because at that point s is 0, you plot directly on the y-axis. When s is 1, y is minus 15. When s is 2, y is minus 12, minus 14. You are coming up. So you have 2 lines before 15 is minus 14. When s is 3, y is minus 9. 2 lines before minus 10 is minus 9. And when s is 4, y is 0. You plot that point directly on the s-axis. And when s is 5, y is 13. So after 10, you count 6 lines upward because 2 lines is 1. So you have 2 lines, 11. The next 2 lines, 12. The next 2 lines, 13. This is the point for 13. And don't forget the title of the graph. It is simply the equation you are plotting. Next thing is to join the points together and determine the value of s when y is given and y when s is given. Here, all the points have been joined together. You can use freehand method, but flexible broomstick is better. Then C, use the graph to find y when s is 1.8. On the s-axis, we said that one line is 0.8. So after 1, if you count 8 lines, you have 1.8 somewhere here. If you look at the graph now, if you trace that line upward, it cannot touch the graph, the curve. That means if the line should go up, you cannot get y, so you have to draw it down. If you draw the line down, it touches the curve at this point, and you trace to y-axis. It is between minus 14 and minus 15. So we can have minus 14.5 when s is 1.8. When find s when y is minus 8. Now after minus 5, the next 2 lines minus 6, the next 2 lines minus 7, the next 2 lines minus 8. That is somewhere here. You observe that if you trace this line to your left and right, it will touch the curve. You simply do that. You do it that way. So if you touch the curve at this point and at this point, at each point you trace to s-axis. So from here you have minus 0.6, and here you have 3.1. So when y is minus 8, s is equal to minus 0.6 or 3.1. So this is the end of question 7. Let's take the next question. Question 8a. Using ruler and a pair of compasses only, construct a Roman figure 1 trapezium W SYZ such that WS is 8 cm, YS is 5.5 cm, SZ is 8.3 cm, angle WSY is 60 degrees, and WS is parallel to ZY. Figure 2, rectangle PAYZ, where P and Q are on WS, measured, that is B partner. Figure 1, side QS. Figure 2, angle SWZ. Solution: because of the practical nature of construction, please consult your mathematics teacher for details, but I'm going to do the rough sketch for you. Now our focal point is here. These two sides are parallel, and you know in a trapezoid two sides are always parallel. Now looking at the given information, we only have WS, one of the parallel sides. So let's start by drawing WS as 8. So let's label it. This is W. Now you have S is there. Okay, so this side is 8. So let's take ZY as the shorter side up. And you know, for you to draw this side, remember that SY is 5.5. So if here is S, you have to measure 5.5 up. So here must be Y, and here is Z. See that now? Okay, and we don't have WZ or ZW in the information, so let's simply close this side as well. See that? Now SZ is 8.3, but before you close this side, you have to measure S to Z as 8.3. So after you measure SZ, before you measure this line, then you close this part and you close this part as well. Angle WSY, that is WSY is 60. So from this place you construct angle 60. You try to do that. All right, now we have any other part there. Even the height is unknown, but you can indicate it. You have the height there. So this is the rough sketch of what should happen if you accurately measure all the sides and carry out the construction. Now from here we have PQ on WS, so you can label this place as P, and here is Q. After doing that, you have PAYZ. PAYZ. Okay, but you have PQ rather, not PA. So here should be PQ. YZ is a rectangle. So you have P, you have Q, then Y and Z is a rectangle. At the end, after that, you measure QS. This is Q now. From this Q, you measure this place, QS, and angle SWZ. That is SWZ. You measure the whole of this angle and you get your result. Remember that you measure angles using protractor to measure angle. So this is the rough sketch of what you are asked to do. Question 9a. The first term of an arithmetic progression is -8. If the ratio of the 7th term to the 9th term is 5:8, find the common difference of the AP. Okay, so this is question A. The first term is denoted by A, so A is equal to minus 8. All we have here center around the nth term formula. For an AP, this is the nth term formula, and you have 7th term ratio 9th term is equal to 5:8. You can express ratio in fractional form, so you have t sub 7 is the 7th term over the 9th term equal to 5/8. In an AP, now let's come here. At the 7th term, n is 7. If you put 7 here, you have 6d, that is A plus 6d as the 7th term. For the 9th term, if you put 9 in place of n, you have 9 minus 1, that is 8d. So you have A plus 8d as the 9th term equal to 5/8. And the first term is minus 8, so you replace A with minus 8, so you have minus 8 plus d over minus 8 plus 8d. Here is 6d equal to 5/8. So here we can cross multiply in this form, but instead of multiplying this side by 8 and this side by 8, we simply use minus 8 plus 8d to multiply this other side, because we are seeing that there is 8 here and there is 8 here that can be factored out to cancel this 8. So this is what happens here. So if you divide through by 8 now, here becomes minus 1 plus d only. So you open the bracket, and you have minus 8 plus 6d equal to minus 5 plus 5d. Collect like terms, you transfer plus 5d to the left hand side. You have 6d minus 5d. Already minus 5 is here. You transfer plus 8, it becomes, transfer minus 8, it becomes plus 8. So you have d equal to 3. Even here, if you decide to cross multiply in the normal way, you are still going to have the same result, d equal to 3. Question 9b. A trader bought 30 baskets of pawpaw and 100 baskets of mangoes for 2,450 naira. She sold the pawpaw at a profit of 40% and the mangoes at a profit of 30%. If her profit on the entire transaction was 855 naira, find the Roman figure 1 cost price of a basket of pawpaw, Roman figure 2 selling price of 100 baskets of mangoes. You have solution. Let the cost price, that is CP1, of a basket of pawpaw be W, and the cost price CP2, because now you have two different fruits or products. For instance, so the first one, the cost price is CP1, and let W denote that. It's easier to write, and the cost price of a basket of mangoes be M. From the problem, 30 baskets of pawpaw plus 100 basket of mangoes give 2,450 naira. You have that in form of this equation. You can divide through by 10 and you have 3w plus 10m equal to 245 naira. So you call that equation 1. Also, let the selling price of the baskets of pawpaw be SP1. The selling price of the basket of mangoes be SP2. If you add the selling price, if you want to get selling price, you have profit plus cost price. You, after buying an item you want to sell, you add your profit to the cost price. From the question, her profit on the entire transaction is 850 and the cost price is 2,450. So if you add the selling prices for the two items, is equal to the total cost price plus the profit. That is SP1 plus SP2 equal to 2,450 plus 855, and that is SP1 plus SP2 equal to 3,350 naira. So let's call this equation 1. Remember, we have to look for the cost price of pawpaw and the selling price of 100 mangoes. So let's see what follows. But before that, you have profit of 40% for pawpaw and 30% for mangoes. So let's put this into the solution and see what follows. So we have percentage profit on the sale of pawpaw is SP1 minus CP1 over CP2 times 100. For the sale of pawpaw, the profit percent is 40. SP1 is unknown, but CP1 is 30W as we denoted earlier over this as well. So if you express this from percentage, you have 40 over 100 equal to the right hand side. If you reduce, you have 2 over 5 equal to the right hand side. So here we are going to get SP1 in terms of W. If you cross multiply, you have it this form. If you open the bracket on the right hand side, you have it in this form. Collect like terms. First, you divide through by 5 because 5 is common, and you have 12W plus equal to SP1 minus 30W. If you collect like terms, you transfer this to the left hand side and you have 12W plus 30W equal to SP1. So SP1 is equal to 42W. Now from the first statement, we form equation 1 using the cost price, and we also form equation 2 using selling price SP1, SP. Now we want to get SP1 and SP2 in terms of W and M to enable us solve for M and W in that equation. So we have for profit percent on the sale of mangoes, this is the same formula, but what we have here is 2 as the subscript. So you have 30% equal to this. Now SP2, CP2 is 100, that is 100 M now, 100 mangoes from the first part. So you do the same thing and you simplify, you evaluate, you cross multiply, and at the end you have SP2 equal to 130m. So we put this result into equation 2. Remember, equation 2 is sp1 plus sp2 equal to 3000 and some figures. Back to equation 2. Equation 2 is sp1 plus sp2 equal to 3,305 naira. From the previous solution, sp1 is 42w plus sp2 130m equal to the total. So you solve equations 1 and 2 simultaneously using elimination method. So you have equation 1 and equation 2. In this equation, I wish to eliminate variable m. So m must have the same coefficients. Now you have 30 and 10 and 130. The LCM of 10 and 130 is 130. So to get 130 from equation 1, you need to multiply it by 13. So you multiply equation 1 by 13 and equation 2 remains the same. So equation 1 becomes 39w plus 130m equal to 3,185. Equation 2 remains the same. To eliminate m, you need to subtract. So 39w minus 42w, you have minus 3w, m becomes 0. If you subtract the right hand side, you have minus 120. To get w, you divide both sides by minus 3 and you have 30 as the value of w. I know w is the cost price for a basket of pawpaw. So Roman figure 1, the cost price for a basket of pawpaw is 40 naira. Roman figure 2, you should get the selling price of 100 baskets of mangoes. That must be equation 2. Equation 1 is formed using cost price, the two cost prices, and equation 2 is the two selling price. So for Roman figure 2, we have to use equation 2. sp1 plus sp2 equal to 3,305 naira. So let's make sp2 the subject because it is for the selling price of mangoes. So sp2 is equal to 3,305 minus sp1. And what is sp1? 42w. So you have sp2 equal to 3,305 minus 42. And what is w previously? 40. So you have times 40 and you have sp2 equal to 3,305 minus 1,680. If you subtract, you have sp2 equal to 1,625 naira 00 kobo. Hence, the selling price of 100 baskets of mangoes is 1,625 naira. This is the end of question 9. Let's proceed to question number 10. Petakus Simplified Maths. If you are viewing and watching from YouTube, ensure that you subscribe, like, and share PSM videos. If you are watching and viewing from Facebook, follow and like the page. Also share PSM videos. That is Petakus Simplified Maths videos. Question 10a. Without using mathematical tables or calculators, simplify 2 tan 60 degrees plus cos 30 degrees over sine 30 degrees. In this question, you are expected to use the special angles value of 30 and 60. You know, in trigonometry, angles 30, 45 and 60, they have special values under sine, cosine and tangent. For under sine, you have cos, you have other sine, you have sine 30, that is 1 over 2. You have sine 45, 1 over root 2. Sine 60, root 3 over 2. That is why sine 60 here is root 3 over 2. Under cosine, cos 30 is root 3 over 2. That is what you have here. Cos 45 is 1 over root 2. Cos 60 is 1 over 2. We don't need that. Under tangent, tan 30 is 1 over root 3. Tan 45 is 1. And tan 60 is root 3. Next thing is to simplify. So 2 times root 3 is 2 root 3 written over 1 for us to have balanced fractions in the numerator. Divide by 3, root 3 over 2. Now the LCM of 1 and 2 is this 2. You divide 2 by 1 is 2. 2 times 2 root 3. You have 4 root 3. You divide 2 by this 2, you have 1. 1 times root 3, you have root 3. Now, division line, let us change it to division sign. Then you have root 3 over 2. And you know, anytime fractions are being divided, anytime we are dividing fractions, division sign always changes to times. If you do that, you invert the fraction root 3 over 2 to 2 over root 3. Clearly, this can cancel this. So you have 4 root 3 plus root 3 over root 3. Anytime we are to divide surd, the rule is that you rationalize the denominator. In a case of a single surd like this, you simply use it to multiply both numerator and denominator in this form. When you multiply root 3 times this root 3, now you have 3. Then 3 times 4. That is what you have here. Root 3 times root 3 again, you have 3. And root 3 times root 3 is also root 3. So you have 12 plus 3 in this form. Divide by 3. And that is 15 over 3 equal to 5. You can actually skip this step. I did that because in case you have different values here, you can actually add 4 root 3 plus 1 root 3 is 5 root 3. Root 3 cancel root 3, you have the same 5 here. But for assuming here is like root 2 and here is root 3, you cannot add. You can only add similar or like surd, such as root 4 root 3 plus 1 root 3. Question 10b. From an aeroplane in the air at a horizontal distance of 1050 meters, the angles of depression of the top and the base of a control tower at an instance are 36 degrees and 41 degrees respectively. Calculate correct to the nearest meter the height of the control tower. Figure 2, shortest distance between the aeroplane and the base of the control tower. Solution. The diagram simply represents the given information in the question. The aeroplane is somewhere here. Of course, you can trace it to the ground level. So this is the height of the aeroplane. Now the control tower is this. Maybe here we have the pilot. This is the base of the control tower, and this is the top of the control tower. So the horizontal distance of the aeroplane from the control tower is 1050 meters. So the angles of depression, angle of depression is formed when you are looking down from the eye level. You have the eye level. If you are looking downward, the angle formed is the angle of depression. From here, angles of depression of the top, that means the one for the top is 36, and base, the one for the base is 41. So if we decide to join the top of the control tower to where the aeroplane is, you have that line 80, and from the base to A you have AZ. So if the pilot is looking down, the first place he saw is the top of the control tower. So you have the first angle 36. Then he looked to the base with the second angle 41. And in angles of elevation and they are always equal because they are alternate. So angle 30 here equal to angle 36 equal to 36, and 41 here equal to 41. So you are asked to find the height of the tower. That height is TZ, or ZT is the height of the tower. From here, we consider the triangles. That is, we have triangle AZT, but that cannot give us the whole height now. We can also consider triangle AYZ. So if we look at AYZ, we get this whole length. If we look at AST, we get AS. So that if you subtract AS from AY, you can get SY, and SY is equal to TZ. Let us see all of that. I have already explained the solution, so let's take it. Height of the tower is SY equal to TZ. You cannot get TZ directly. You have to get SY before getting TZ, and that is AY minus AS. From the bigger triangle, you get AY. From triangle AST, you get AS, and you subtract. So in triangle AST, tan 36 degrees is equal to opposite, that is AS over adjacent ST. You have AS over 1050. To get AS, you simply cross multiply, and you have AS equal to 1050 times tan 36 degrees. You have it in this form, and you have 766 62.825 meters. Then in triangle AYZ, tan 41 is equal to the whole of this length, that is AY over YZ. So you have AY over 1050 and AY is 1050 times tan 41 degrees. If you do that, you have this result. If you check tan 41, if you multiply, you have 912.66 meters. So therefore, height of the tower SY, that is equal to TZ, is AY minus AS. That is 912.66 minus 762.825, and you have 149.835. To the nearest meter, we have to consider 149. The next number there is 8. You approximate by rounding it up to 1. If you add it to 149, you have 150 meters as the height of the tower. The shortest distance is AZ. To get AZ, we'll consider triangle AYT. Now we know the whole of AY, we know AY, and we also know this. So you have we are looking for AS. So looking for AS, and in that triangle AZ is the hypotenuse. If we are to use YZ, that means we must have cosine. Cosine is defined as the ratio of adjacent to hypotenuse. So cos 41 degrees is equal to hypotenuse, that is, adjacent, that is YZ, over hypotenuse AZ. So you have 1050 over AZ. If you make AZ the subject, you have this result. And if you simplify and divide, you have 1391.28 meters. So therefore, the shortest distance between the aeroplane and the base of the control tower is approximately 1391 meters. This is the end of question 10. Let us proceed to question 11. Petakus Simplified Maths. If you are viewing and watching from YouTube, ensure that you subscribe to the channel, like and share PSM videos to your friends, your classmates, your colleagues. If you are viewing from Facebook, follow and like the page. Also share PSM videos. Question 11a. Make M the subject of the relation H equal to MT over D bracket open M plus P bracket close. Solution. This is the relation. Let us write H over 1 so that you can cross multiply to clear the fractions. So you have it in this form. So H times D bracket open M plus P bracket close and MT times 1, you have it in this form. You have to open the bracket in the left hand side and you have HDM plus HDP equal to MT. The terms that contain M, take them to one side. That is collection of like terms. So let's have HDP here. MT is already here. If you transfer plus HDM, it becomes minus HDM. In the right hand side, you factor out M. So you have HDP equal to M bracket open, t minus hd bracket close. To get m, divide both sides by the coefficient of m, so m is equal to dhp. Now I'm trying to follow the order of the letters, so you have dhp over t minus dh. That is m as the subject of the relation. 11b. In the diagram, wy and wz are straight lines. O is the center of circle WSM, and angle SWM is 48 degrees. Calculate the value of angle WYZ. Alright, so we have it that WZ is a straight line and O is the center, and WZ passes through the center of the circle. That means this angle here must be 90 degrees. So we can join these 2 points together. So if this angle is 90 degrees, you can get this angle by adding the 3 angles in triangle MSW and equate it to 180. After that, you can consider SMYZ as a quadrilateral, and the sum of the opposite interior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is 180. So if we can get this angle, it helps us, or it can help us to get this angle. Since you can get this angle from the other triangle, these 2 angles are in a straight line. To enable you get this angle, and you add it to this angle, equate to 180 to get this angle. Let us see all of that. The solution continues. I've already explained the adjustments in the diagram. First, we have to get this angle. If you add all the angles in the triangle is equal to 180, we are interested in WMS. That is this angle. The rest 2 angles are 48 and 90 respectively. So WMS is equal to, you transfer these 2 angles to the right hand side, and you have 180 degrees minus 90 degrees minus 48 degrees, and is equal to 42 degrees. Next is to get this angle. So we take the 2 angles on a straight line. That is angle SMZ plus angle WMS equal to 180. And what we need now is SMZ. SMZ. This is the angle that we need. This one is 42. If you transfer it to the right hand side, you have angle SMZ equal to 180 degrees minus 42 degrees, and that is 138 degrees. In the quadrilateral SYMZ, angle WYZ plus angle SMZ equal to 180. That is this angle and this angle. The reason is that opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral, we are interested in this angle, so you transfer this, which is 138, to the right hand side, and you have angle WYZ equal to 180 degrees minus 138 degrees, and that is 42 degrees. Let us look at question 11C. 11C, an operation. This operation is multiplication in modular arithmetic, is defined on the set S equal to curly brackets 1, 3, 5, 6 as the element by m times n equal to m plus n plus 2 modulo 7, where m, n are members of S. Figure 1. Draw a table for the operation. Figure 2. Using the table, find the truth set of part 1. 3 times n equal to 3. Part 2, n times n equal to 3. Solution. Figure 1. You have the table for the operation m times n equal to m plus n plus 2 modulo 7. To form that table, you write the set, the element in row and column wise. Let us take this column. This is the column view now for m and the row view for n. Now, in modulo 7, you have 6 elements from 0 to 6. As you will carry out the operation, any element above 6, you always divide it by 7 and you record the remainder. But if it is between 0 and 6, you always record it. So let's take this one against this one. That is when m is 1, n is 1. If you put 1 here, you put 1 in place of m, you put 1 here. This 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is an element in modulo 7, so you record it. Now you take the same one against 3. That is when m is 1, n is 3. When you add, you have 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 is an element in modulo 7. You record it. You take 1 against 5. That is 1 times 5 is 6. 6 plus 1 times 5 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 is not an element in modulo 7, so you cannot record 8 here. What you do is that you divide 8 by 7 and you have 1 remainder 1. What you record is the remainder. Hence, here is 1. You take the same one against 6 and you have 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. Divide 9 by 2. You have 1 remainder 2. You record the remainder. You take 3 against all the n elements and you have the second row. You take 5 and you take 6. Now let's try 6. If you try 6, when m is 6 and n is 1, you have 6 plus 1, that is 8. That is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. Divide 9 by 7. You have 1 remainder 2. You record 2. You take 6 against 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus this 2 now. 9 plus this 2, you have 9 plus 2, you have 11. If you divide 11 by 7, you have 1 remainder 4. You record the remainder 4. You take 6 against 5. 6, when m is 6, n is 5. So you come here. 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 plus 2 is 13. Divide by 7. You have 1 remainder 6. So you record remainder 6. See that? You take 6 against 6. When m is 6, n is 6. That is 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Divide 14 by 7. You have 2 remainder 0. You record the remainder 0. So that is the table for the operation. Remember, we got 2, part 1. 3 times n equal to 3. What that means is that m is equal to 3 and n is equal to n. Now, which value of n will you multiply by m3 to get remainder of 3? What you do is that this is the m row. So in the m row, you locate 3 and you trace 3 to where you have remainder of 3. When you trace it up, you have 5. So n is equal to 5. Roman figure 2 or part 2 of Roman figure 2, n times n equal to 3. What that means is that two the same value, that is, okay, let's start with 1 1. When m is 1, n is 1, the remainder is 4. You cannot take n as 4. So you try 3 against 3. The remainder is 1. You cannot take m and n as 3 because you must have remainder of 3. You take 5 and 5. Remainder is 5, not 3. You take 6 and 6. Remainder is 0, not 3. So considering this table, n has no truth set. That is the answer, because no two the same number give remainder of 3. So this is the end of question 11. Let us proceed to question 12. Question 12. A water reservoir in the form of a cone mounted on a hemisphere is built such that the plane face of the hemisphere fits exactly to the base of the cone, and the height of the cone is 6 times the radius of its base. A part of the question: illustrate this information in a diagram. B. If the volume of the reservoir is 333 whole number, 1/3 pi cube meters, calculate correct to the nearest whole number. D. Roman figure 1, volume of the hemisphere. Roman figure 2, total surface area of the reservoir. So you have solution. This diagram represents the given information. You have a cone that is mounted on a hemisphere. The difference here is that the radius of the base, that is arrow, but the height of the cone is 6 times radius. So instead of having h here, you replace h with 6 arrow. This is the slant height of the cone. So let us proceed. With this, we have to get the radius first, since the volume of the hemisphere, since the volume of the reservoir is given. Once radius is known, we can calculate the volume of the sphere and the total surface area of the reservoir. So B part of the question: volume of reservoir is equal to volume of cone plus volume of hemisphere. From the question, the volume of reservoir is this. If you convert it to improper fraction, you have 1000 over 3 pi cube meters. Volume of a cone is 1 over 3 pi r square h. So you have 1 over 3, pi is 22 over 7. The radius is unknown, while the height is 6 r. When you simplify this, you have 2 pi r cube. 2 pi r cube as the volume of the cone. Volume of hemisphere is 2 over 3 pi r cube. We don't need any other adjustment here, okay? But you see that all the terms are in pi, so we actually represent 27 over 2 again with pi, since pi is contained in the volume of reservoir. So that if you divide 3 by 6 or divide 6 and 3 now, you have 2 remaining, pi, then r squared times r is r cube. It follows that volume of reservoir equal to volume of cone plus volume of hemisphere. You divide through by pi. If you do that, you have 1000 over 3 equal to 2 r cube plus 2 over 3 r cube. To clear the fractions, multiply through by 3. If you multiply this term by 3, you are left with 1000. Multiply this term by 3, you have 6 r cube. Multiply this term by 3, you have 2 r cube. If you add the like terms in the right hand side, you have 8 r cube. So 1000 is equal to 8 r cube. To get r cube first, divide both sides by 8. You have r cube equal to 1000 over 8, and that is 125. To get r, you take the cube root of both sides. So you have r equal to cube root of 125, and that is 5 meters. That is the value of the radius. Problem figure 1 of part B. You are asked to find the volume of a sphere. This is the formula. You simply replace pi with 22 over 7 and r with 5. So you have 2 over 3 times 22 over 7 times 5 cube. 2 times 22 is 44. 7 times 3 is 21. 5 cube is 125. If you multiply 44 by 125, you have 5500. Divide by 21, you have 261.905. To the nearest whole number, you consider 261. The next number is more than 5. You round it up to 1 and add it to 261, and you have 262 cube meters as the volume of the hemisphere to the nearest whole number. Remember figure 2, total surface area of reservoir is equal to surface area of cone plus surface area of hemisphere, and that is pi RL for the cone plus 2 pi r square for the hemisphere. Now the slant height is needed, and the cone we have on top of the hemisphere is a right circular cone, and there is relationship between the slant height, the height itself, and the radius by Pythagoras rule in this form. So L square is equal to the height is 6 arrow, you square it plus arrow square. Now you have 6 times 5 because the radius is 5 from the previous part. 6 times 5 is 30, so you have 30 squared plus 5 squared. That is 900 plus 2 5, and when you add you have 925. To get L, take the root of both sides, so L is equal to square root of 8 of 925, and that is 30.41 meters. Therefore, the total surface area of reservoir is equal to, so you come back here now, where you have pi as 22/7 times 5 the radius times the slant height, that is 30.41, plus for the hemisphere you have 2 times pi 22/7 times radius 5 square. If you simplify the part of the cone, you have 477.871. If you simplify the part for the hemisphere, you have 157.143. If you add together, you have 635.104. So the nearest whole number, you have 635 square meters as the total surface area of the reservoir. Petakus Simplified Maths. If you are viewing and watching from YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like and share PSM videos. If you are watching from Facebook, follow and like the page, also share PSM video. So this is the end of question 12. Let us proceed to question 13 and the last question in this part 2. Question 13, the table shows the marks scored by some candidates in an examination. You have the marks in percent and frequency, that is the number of students that scored between the various groups. 0 to 9, 7 candidates. 10 to 19, 11 candidates. 20 to 29, 17 candidates. 30 to 39, 20 candidates. 40 to 49, 29 candidates. 50 to 59, 34 candidates. 60 to 69, 30 candidates. 70 to 79, 25 candidates. 80 to 89, 21 candidates. 90 to 99, 6 candidates. A part of the question: construct a cumulative frequency table for the distribution and draw a cumulative frequency curve, also known as OGIF. B part of the question: use the curve to estimate correct to 1 decimal place. Figure 1, the lowest mark for distinction if 5% of the candidates passed with distinction. Remember figure 2, the probability of selecting a candidate who scored at most 45%. Solution: in order to draw the cumulative frequency curve, we just need to add 2 additional columns to this table where you have mark frequency, cumulative frequency, and class boundary, because you plot cumulative frequency curve by plotting cumulative frequency against the upper class boundaries. Solution A, construction of cumulative frequency table. You have the marks as given and the respective frequencies. To get the next column, cumulative frequency, is just simply addition, where you start with the first frequency 7 plus the second one 11, you have 18, plus 17 you have 35, plus 20 you have 55, plus 29 you have 84, plus 34 you have 118, plus 30 you have 148, plus 25 173, plus 21 194, plus 6 you have 200. Then to get the class boundaries, you use the max or class interval. So the first one is 0, it remains as 0 here. We have to get the boundary value first. The boundary value is simply difference in adjacent sides divided by 2. You have this is one adjacent side, the difference is 1. This is another one. Any 2 you take, the difference is always 1, 1, 1. If you divide 1 by 2, you have 0.5. To get the lower class boundary, you subtract the boundary value from the lower class limit. Starting with 10, you have 10 minus 0.5, that is 9.5. 20 minus 0.5, you have 19.5. Then 90 minus 0.5, you have 89.5. To get the upper class boundary, you add the boundary value to the upper class limit. So you have 9 plus 0.5, you have 9.5. 29 plus 0.5, you have 29.5. 59 plus 0.5, you have 59.5. 99 plus 0.5, you have 99.5. You can do others. To plot the curve, you just need cumulative frequency against the upper class boundaries. So we have construction of the cumulative curve. On the cumulative frequency axis, the vertical axis, we need the scale so that we can accommodate between 7 to 200. So let's take the scale 2 centimeters to 20 units. What that means is that from this origin to the end of the second bus, here each bus is 1 cm, 5 lines. So you combine 2 and give it 20. The next 2 becomes 40. The next 2 60. The next 2 80, and so on. This scale also means 1 centimeter to 10 units. For that reason, one line on this axis is 2. Then on the mark axis or upper class boundary, we don't need a special scale. From 0, you mark the first cm 9.5. The next one 19.5. You have 29.5, 39.5, 49.5, 59.5. In order to have enough space and neat work, so the values are not there, but I just show you that they are there. So let's plot the various points. 7 against 9.5. On the vertical axis, one line is 2. That means 7 is between 6 and 8, somewhere here against 9.5. 18 can be located, the last line before 20, against 19.5. 35 can be located between 34 and 36. You do that against 29.5. 55 is between 54 and 56. You plot that against 39.5. 84 can be located directly after 80, the next line 82, the next line 84, and you plot that against 49.5. The next line is next point 118. It can be located close to 120. You plot that against 59.5. 148 can be located somewhere here, that's before 150. You plot that against 69.5. 173 is between 172, 174, okay, is between 172 and 174. That is somewhere here. 194 is somewhere here, and 200 is here. 200 is here against 99.5. So all the points have been plotted. If you plot this curve correctly, you always have S shape from it. Even is even clear here. So let's join the point together and see the shape very clearly. Part B, run figure 1. You are asked to find the lowest mark for distinction if 5% of the candidates passed with distinction. So if 5% of the candidates passed the exam with distinction, it means 95%, that is 100 minus 5, passed with a mark less than or equal to the lowest mark for distinction. So we calculate number of students that fall in this category. That is 95 over 100. If you convert 95% to ordinary fraction, divide by 100 and multiply by 200 total students, that is 190. From the curve, 190 is somewhere here. You trace to the curve, that is from the vertical axis, 190. You trace to the curve somewhere here, and you trace down. Remember, this place is 89.5. Now, between 79.5 and 89.5, the difference is 10, and you have 5 lines there. That means one line must be 2, so that you have 79.5. The next line is 81.5. The next line is 83.5. The next line is 85.5. And where the line falls on becomes the fourth line from 79.5, and that is 87.5. is the lowest mark for distinction. Number figure 2. Number of candidates who scored at most 45%. They are 68%. That is the mark, is this horizontal axis. So if you count from 39.5, this place is 45. You trace to the curve and you trace to the vertical axis, and you have 68 in that place. So Probability at most 45% is equal to number of candidates in that region 68 over total candidates. When you divide, you have 0.34. To one decimal place, you have 0.7. Sorry, 0.3. To one decimal place, 0.3. Petakus Simplified Maths. If you are watching or viewing from YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like and share PSM videos. If you are watching and viewing from Facebook, follow and like the page, also share PSM videos. Lastly, there is every need for you to be saved, and if you are not, you need to give your life to the one that can save you, and that is the Lord Jesus Christ, and confess him as your Lord and personal Savior. If you are saved already, congratulations. Live righteously and be prepared, because on the last day some will be taken and some will be left. Take good care of yourself, stay out of trouble, study your books, do the needful at all times, flee every appearance of evil, don't defraud others to make money, use your hands and your brain to work genuinely and legally, and the Lord will bless you. Goodbye.